This woman asks if the man is thirsty, so she hands him the water bottle saying it's cold, and she throws the water on his head, wetting him all over. Then angrily she tells him to get out of the sidewalk, because she is ashamed that the neighbors see that beggar at her door. 2 years ago, she is talking on the phone with her friend, saying that she is going to hire 2 masseuses, 1 for each, and that she doesn't have to worry because her husband won't think it's bad. The 2 women soon say goodbye and she's going to say hello to the man. The wife tells him how she loves that place, that she likes to go there, to be able to rest, and that she is other person when she go there. So the wife tells her husband that she wants 2 masseuses every time she goes to the place, 1 for her and 1 for her friend. The husband asks what happened to her friend, and the wife replies that the husband needs to be kinder to her friend and doesn't need to complain. The wife also says that he need to hire 2 people to clean the house, as it was dirty and with spider's web, and that she doesn't like it, and her husband says that she only talks about spending. And the wife just ignores it and asks him to get her a drink, and the husband says he's working, but the wife complains that it doesn't cost anything for him to get a drink, and the husband ends up accepting and gets up to attend to her request. Minutes later, the husband comes back with his wife's drink. He also tells her that he forgot to show her the news, then says that the sand field is ready and wants to show it to her, and the wife gets excited saying she wants to see it. He then invites her to go there now, as it was wonderful, so the 2 leave towards the sand field. They walk around the farm, but when they get to the sand, the wife says she won't step there, but the husband tells her to stop being annoying and insists that she go, so she ends up accepting it and stepping on the sand carefully so as not to get dirty, while her husband says she needs to take her cousins and friends to the countryside. The husband then says that they can now open the place and gives the idea of having a barbecue the next day, and the wife gets excited saying that she will do decoration, hire lighting, and the husband asks if they need a buffet to have a barbecue party, and the wife says yes, and the husband tells her to get into reality. A week later, the wife is talking to her friend on the phone, saying she's going to the gym, and then there's yoga, so she says the 2 of them could stop by the mall to buy some new things as she need to renew her wardrobe. Then the 2 confirms and say goodbye. When she leaves her house, a man is standing at the door and calls her, and asks if she can get him a glass of water, so she starts complaining about having a beggar at her door and that he stinks. She says that hates beggar even closer to her like this, so she demands that he go away and bother somewhere other than on her sidewalk. But the man just insists for the glass of water, so she asks if he's thirsty, hands him the water bottle saying it's very cold, and suddenly throws the water on his head, wetting him all over, so angrily she tells him to leave the door of her house, because she hates beggars at her door, and leaves him alone. The man says he only asked for a glass of water, and he wonders if he will ever get one chance in life, that he just needs a chance, and asks God to bless him. So he gets up and leaves. 2 years later, the husband was in the bathroom and receives a call. The husband is in the bathroom and was about to brush his teeth, but suddenly his cell phone starts ringing and the man realizes that the bank manager is calling, and he answers the call from his manager. He greets her excitedly, saying that she hasn't called in a while, and reveals that he missed talking to her, while he hears her say that she has an urgent need to talk to him, and the husband asks if it can be later, but she says that it has to be in that moment, and as it is very urgent. In addition, he will need to be accompanied by his wife, because it is an issue that involves both of them. He gets worried and can't imagine what it could be, but he understands that it's a serious matter, and so he says that in a few minutes the 2 of them will be at the bank to talk to her. An hour later, the couple is at the bank and the manager says that the news is not good, so she says that the husband took out a loan with the bank and did not pay off any, and because of the delays, his house is already owned by the bank, so the wife gets desperate, because it's her house that she built the way she always wanted, so she yells with her husband for knowing this before and not having told her, and that it's unacceptable for her to know about it just now. And he says he didn't want to make her worried, because the situation is very complicated, and reveals that the company's performance was not going as planned for some months. The husband talks to the manager that he needs a solution, that he wants her to help him with this. The manager asks if he still has the farm, but the wife interrupts saying that the farm is her greatest love and that no one will touch it, because the farm will never be sold, and the manager tries to explain that if they do not sell the farm, they will not be able to pay off the debt. So the husband asks if she has any solution, if she knows anyone who might be interested in the place, and the manager answers that she has a possible buyer and that is a very good person, and the husband asks if is a trustworthy man. The manager answers that is a great investor and has never seen such a good businessman, with so good character. He asks if the manager can get in touch with the investor to get to know the farm, and she replies that she will give the number for the investor to get in touch, and asks them not to worry, because if they sell the farm they will pay off at least one part of the loan. The husband thanks and the wife gets upset about the situation, so she just leaves the room not believing that after years she maybe lose that beautiful farm. A week later, the couple is already at the farm, while the husband tries to talk to his wife about selling the farm, saying that they have no other way out, but the wife says that she cannot understand, as she does not want to lose her farm, the swimming pool, saying that she loves that place, where she does massage and meditation, that this cannot be true. The husband explains that they have to worry about selling the farm, that they can't even pay the costs of the place, and the wife gets nervous accusing her husband of mismanagement and says she's living a nightmare, because she never imagined that it could be possible to lose that farm they were both proud of. And the husband asks her to have patience and that all that remains is to pray for the investor to buy the property, as they are urgently and need to pay these debts. Because even selling the farm they will still be in debt, this is the reality, unfortunately, and asks her to understand it definitively. So the wife yells at her husband that she wasn't born to be poor, that he's known it since the day he met her, and asks how he's going to sell her favorite place, and the husband asks them to finish organizing some things, to when the investor arrives, and the wife just angrily nods, saying she doesn't know what she did to deserve this. Then the investor arrives in his car. In this beautiful vehicle is that man who years ago was humiliated for being a beggar. He calls the bank manager saying he has arrived at the place, and asks if the owners are there. He says that the farm is very big and he is worried that he hasn't seen anyone yet. Then he asks what is the name of the husband and wife and says that he agreed to first meet with the man so that they could define the terms of purchase and sale. Thanks the manager and ends the call. So he finally gets out of the beautiful vehicle. The investor soon meets with the husband, and the two greet each other and sit. The husband asks if the manager had already discussed about the farm with him, if the values had already been passed, and the investor answers yes, but he went to see the size of the site, and reveals he is positively impressed with the size of the property. So the husband explains that it is 40 hectares, that they are selling cheaper than it is worth, because they have 3 swimming pools, and decides to be honest, saying that they really need to sell the place, because they are going through a very complicated situation. He tells that farm has been with his wife's family for many years and that is her favorite place, but unfortunately they get into some debts and it will be necessary to sell the place. Soon after, his wife appears, and when the husband introduces his wife to the investor, he remembers when she humiliated him on the street, throwing him water. He hadn't forgotten what happened until today. That humiliation, he remembers, was decisive for getting the opportunity that made him who he is today, a successful businessman. But the wife doesn't seem to recognize him back and just say hello. Then the husband returns to the conversation and explains to his wife what he was talking about with the investor. The husband ends up asking what he works with, and the investor says he wouldn't believe it if he told his story, so he says he lived on the street, he's been hungry and thirsty, but a person came into his life to change, who taught him everything he knows, for him to be the person he is today, and that he was very happy during the time he spent with this person. But unfortunately she passed away and ended up leaving a generous inheritance, which he uses to make investments and help people. Then he reveals that the farm, after he acquires the property, will be turned into an attraction for children to meet and learn about animals. So the husband gets surprised to know that the reason for his fortune is a person who helped him and took him off the streets, and says that he has a very beautiful history and that he is happy to be negotiating his place with a person like him. But he assumes that doesn't want to sell the site, but really needs the money. Then he asks once again if the entrepreneur has visited the entire property and asks if he has any further questions or requests. The investor asks them to close the deal today, and the husband is surprised, but the investor explains that he can see that he needs and wants to help. The husband is touched and sincerely thanks him for the kindness, saying he really proved to be a differentiated person, genuinely concerned with using his fortune to provide opportunities for other people, then thanks him again. So asks how he is going to do with the paperwork, but the investor explains that his lawyers will solve everything, that he won't have any problems or headaches with it. He says that the team already has a lot of experience in acquiring properties of that magnitude and that in a few days everything will be defined and the money will be deposited in their account. When the couple is alone, the husband is happy that they managed to sell the place, but the wife doesn't seem excited about it and says she was hoping this deal didn't work out because he knows she loves that place, that they could think of something else and not sell that very important property to her family. But she didn't want to sell the place. With all patience, the husband explains again that they need to sell the place, and the wife counters by saying that after paying the bills they will run out of money, and the husband explains that later they will be in debt a lot. The wife asks where they are going to live, and the husband tries to explain that they are not in a position to take care of the farm, and that they need to worry about getting a decent job, because their situation is no longer the same and they need to come back to reality. He explains that if they need to sweep the street, they will have to, because they need to eat, and that God helped them to get where they are and that He will help again, that she just needs to be patient, that everything will be okay, that God will send an angel to help them get back on their feet. The investor was listening to everything and walks up to them again, and the couple is worried asking what happened, so he apologizes for having overheard the conversation, and thought that he won't have time to take care of the place, and that the husband knows how to do everything, so he, a man with a good heart and values, says he thought of an alternative that can make everyone happy, including the woman. So the investor makes a proposal for the husband taking care of the farm. Still in disbelief, the husband is excited about that proposal. And the investor says that he can live on the farm and that he will pay his salary, and the couple is thrilled with this opportunity. So the wife asks why he is so good and generous. And the investor replies that he has been through a lot of difficulty in life, that he needed a lot of help, but unfortunately he has been denied even a glass of water, and he learned that you must pay evil with good, so it will be a pleasure to help the couple. The two are in disbelief, but hug the investor, thanking him for his generosity. Never despise anyone. Maybe in the future that person will be your only way out.